Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. And today's video is going to be specifically about one thing. How do you actually implement AI in business? Because if you're a business owner, or even if you're not a business owner, if you're someone who works with businesses, if you are working in a business, if you are in any of these formats, you need to know how do you actually implement AI in your business. I'm going to give you the exact roadmap, a 3-step roadmap, which is going to cover everything that you need to know. I'm going to talk about every part of it and explain in detail about how can you actually go ahead and get started today. Now, very simply, on the first hand side, I have the education piece on how to implement AI in business. Now, when you say education, you might be like, Akshat, I don't have time to go back to school. I'm not asking you to. The first step that I'm asking you to is get everyone on your team a ChatGPT subscription. Now, again, that could mean anything for you. So if you're on Google's workspace or something, get Gemini. If you're on Microsoft, get Copilot, whatever, get the paid model. Because the point is, those are actually better than the free models that are available. They're just like, I'll say 5 to 10 times better than what you're already using if you have never used a paid model. So again, go ahead and get everyone on your team, if you're a business owner, or everyone else whom you can, a ChatGPT subscription. Second part, train them on AI. Now, if you have a team, right, and very simply, if you just give them a model or like a better model, it's not going to be enough. You need to ensure that they are trained on how to use these tools. So, for example, Gemini of Google has crazy good features on creating presentations, on working on creating emails or doing a lot more things. And you should really focus on training your teams on AI, because if they're able to use these models and these tools better, you can just see a huge improvement in the quality of the work that they do, right? And not only that, also start with a challenge to all of them. Make sure that everyone is trying to do 10 to 20% of their current job using AI. Now, the reason behind that is everyone, until and unless you are a prime minister or a president or you are running a government, some part of your job can be done by AI, some part. It could be like as simple as writing emails. So let's say if you spend 1 hour every day writing emails, just try to cut that down to 30 minutes. And it is possible. It's not crazy. You just have to learn how to do that. And if once you learn, you can use that to spend 10 to 20% of your time on doing other things. But first focus is that you should be able to free up that 10 to 20% of your time, of your team and yourself as a business, to make sure that we can implement something else. Okay, so again, 3 steps: get a subscription, train them on AI, and make sure that they're using AI to automate 10 to 20% of their job in some format. Okay, that brings me to my next point. Very simply, is automation, which I love. You know, I love that. Now, the first step is very simply to automate the 20% that is, for example, someone has figured out a way to create reports using AI. So that means you have to send out, let's say, a report to your customer or your any client or XYZ, a report every month. Now, let's say that report takes a couple of hours every month. What can we do to spend maybe like 6-7 hours on creating a small solution that can change those 2 hours that you spend on a report to 20 minutes? Now, you might be like, but why are we going to spend so much time building a solution and getting it perfected when we can just spend 2 hours? Agreed. But you have to start small. You have to start with small automations so that your team can see what is possible. And again, very simply, if it is like a small report thing, you can maybe extend it to other clients also, or you can do it for in a custom format for every person that there is. You might be able to do more things with those automations and get back time. AI right now, in the best way possible, is able to give you back time to things that add more value to your business. So I'm pretty sure sending regular updates is not one of the craziest things that you do, right? So again, create an automation using AI and low code. Now again, you can use any kind of like a low code automation depending on your usage. Start with Zapier, Make, or start with again, simple tools which you already have part of as an ecosystem of a company. But again, start somewhere and get whatever can be automated from that 10-20% that your employees have figured out and add that to the automation piece. Okay, now again, that does not mean that you can keep running this in a cycle. So if you try to for example, if you try to do this, right, and then again from there do this and connect this back, it won't work. Very simply because it can't keep running in circles. And the reason behind that is, well, you will hit a roadblock because there will be some parts that can't be automated by AI today, right? So you may be able to do it till 10-20%. That I think is a good number. But if you try to do more, I don't know how it will work out, right? So I think 20, 30, 40% is a good number, but post that, I don't believe. Right now, AI can do everything that is there. Okay, so again, very simply 10 to 20%, and look at that. I'm pretty sure if you're running, let's say, $1 million business, a 20% efficiency can mean literally saving around $150,000 every year. So again, focus on that, okay? Let's come back to the second point. And let me move this. Automate internal non-value add process. Okay, what does that mean? What does that actually mean, right? Very simply, now that's just one example of what I told you as like monthly report generation, but anything else that your employees are doing internally. For example, your employees traveling out to somewhere for a sales call. Now, if they have to ask you every time that how much money can I spend on a hotel or how much money can I spend on a flight or XYZ, it's stupid. Because if they have to ask everyone and confirm with someone, it's stupid. You should be able to build a small internal AI agent which can do all those things, which can answer their questions, and even if required, connect them with the right person who can actually book their tickets. That could be their travel desk, that could be something else, that could be like a API that automatically books their ticket based on their requirements. Anything that works for you, you can build these questions. For example, like asking which holidays am I allowed to take or whatever. Again, simple examples, but all of this can be just part of a single agent. You can take all your policy documents of your company and just put it in the agent, give it a decent prompt and just ask it to answer the questions that are needed. You can do it using multiple options. You can create a GPT out of it. You can create like a co-pilot out of it. You can create out of like a voice flow agent if you need to. Literally, the world is your oyster. So please focus on like, making sure that all these questions that are mandatory questions that every employee will have at some point in time, just automate those questions and answer. That's a start, right? Again, you can focus on more things that you can do, but to start with simple AI agents or AI chatbots that you can work on. Okay, perfect. Then we come to the third and probably like most interesting part, adding AI to your business and for your customers and also to your product. Because again, all the other things right now that I've told you are about efficiency creation and productivity improvement, right? But there is also another part to it that you can increase your sales, you can improve your customer experience for your customers, your employees, everything using AI. So let's focus on that. First part, add AI to products if you can. Now, what do I mean by that? If you have a tech product, obviously you can add a ton of AI. I'm not going to discuss all of those options there. You are smart enough to figure them out. But yes, go ahead and add some part of an AI which can actually improve the customer experience. Don't just add something for the sake of it. But if you don't know how to add, let me give you an example. Let's say for a non-tech business, if you are running, let's say, a dry cleaning option, right? Now, if you want something to be dry cleaned, you might have customers calling in and asking, what are the prices? How long will it take? How much can I give as clothes? And what amount of clothes can you handle? When can I get them back? XYZ, multiple other questions. What if you create a simple solution using AI and online tools which are already available and bring them together, right? And just create a solution that works for cold calling. So anytime someone calls your business, they talk to an AI, get all their questions answered, and also maybe book a pickup so that your people can go and pick up their clothes, or they are going to come and give their clothes and you can take that booking or XYZ. Again, it can work, it's possible. There are already tools such as WAPI, or you can build like an agent on voice flow, or you can do a couple of integrations together and do it yourself. But what I'm saying is there are already tools that are available, or even you can work with someone to make sure that they can build these tools for you, and then you can scale your business much more rapidly. Just imagine like every time someone calls you, and if you don't have like enough people who are answering those calls, that means you are losing customers, you are losing business. So again, even if it is a non-tech business, you can really, really focus on making sure that you add these things to make your customer experience better. Let's come to the next part. Now again, this is something that I already talked about. Your customers should be able to use a simple AI chatbot, or an example to use a service or agent. So again, like a cold calling agent or an AI chatbot on your website, anything that works, you should be able to add that, because if you're able to add that, you can just improve the customer experience itself. Just imagine the friction that you have reduced, that now someone can just come to your website, talk to a chatbot, get their questions answered, and book the service that they need to, right? Or if they have more questions, then they actually call you. They don't waste your time by asking the question that you already have the answers to on your website. Again, it's the easiest way to get started. Create a simple AI chatbot, put it on your website. There are tons of tutorials that I have built myself that you can watch to actually know how to do them, and just build it for yourself. Awesome. What's next? Map out all your interactions. Now, this is like the fun part. Now, let's say all the steps. You've already done all these steps. Okay, that's when you come to this step. You don't come to this step until you have done all the steps. Okay, making it clear. Awesome. So map out all your interactions with your customer. Now, the way to do that is by starting and putting a roadmap for a customer. We're going to take the dry cleaning example. Let's say you run a laundry business, right? And you do dry cleaning for clothes. So here is how a simple roadmap for a dry cleaning service for a customer will look like, right? So first thing is customer call. Let me just move myself. Okay. First thing is the customer calls you. Once the customer calls you, they ask you questions and get answers, right? Now again, so very simply, they can ask you questions and get answers. Next thing, book a service to get pickup of clothes. So once they ask questions and get answers, maybe they book a service, and let's say they book actually a service to pick up their clothes. So that's one. Then you collect the clothes, you go ahead and dry clean them, and then again you talk to them, when can you deliver these clothes? So again, another option where you have to talk to them. And then finally, once you get the delivery and time and date, and you go ahead and deliver them. Again, this flow is great. It works. Most of the businesses run like this. But here is where you will actually be able to implement AI. So let's go there. First step, customer calls you. They have a lot of questions. What if we make this very simply AI and we change this to this? And you can actually use AI here to answer all the questions. Let's say once the questions are answered, you can actually use the same AI agent to also book a service. Maybe you can send them a payment link, and maybe they can just pay through a small amount to get their clothes picked up. And you do that. You collect the clothes, and let's say once you have collected the clothes and done the dry cleaning part of it, you can go ahead and mark in your software that this customer is ready. An automatic message can be sent to them through an email, through a WhatsApp, through something, and they can simply mark when can they actually want the delivery to be done. Now, this means there are 7 steps to this journey, out of which 3 times you can use AI. Now, that might not look huge if you are running a single business of dry cleaning. The example might look small, but that's what it is. It's an example. It's up to you on how you do something similar for your customers. Wherever there is an involvement of a friction, for example, someone to call and wait, someone to wait to get answers, someone to ask again, call that person back. That person could be in a meeting, that person could be doing something else, and you call them again to ask them when can they deliver your clothes, and so that. Again, these are multiple problems, because the point is, again, very simply, we live in a world where frictionless experiences are the goal. For example, if you're making a payment, just imagine it's so easy. You just tap a card. That's what you can do with AI for every kind of business that exists. So automatically gets a call, the AI picks it up, takes care of the answers, takes care of the options, and then finally go ahead and literally also ask them when to deliver and go ahead and deliver that. So what your main job is to literally collect the clothes and dry clean them and deliver them, right? That's it. Literally, that's it. Because once you have done all those parts, actually, that's also automated. So you literally have to do what you do best. That's do great dry cleaning laundry services. Amazing. Now, another thing that I actually want to show you is this particular graph. And we're going to put these 3-4 things here on this board to show you what actually means to implement AI and what are some quick wins that you can get. Now, first example, get your teams a ChatGPT subscription. Low effort and extremely high value. If you can do this, it's super easy to do. You can just go ahead right now and get a team subscription, and it's extremely high value. The quality of models is actually much, much better. And your team members and the employees will be trained on the cutting edge of AI. In the long term, it always makes sense for people to be trained on AI. And then again, train your teams on AI. If you have a decent team, right, or even if you're I'll put it mid-effort, right, it's not extremely low effort because everyone will work and think about it differently, but very simply, it's a high value task. If you train your teams on AI, it's an extreme productivity boost. It's an extremely great boost for your business. So train your teams on AI. Improving customer experience. Now, this again, we can put on clearly, this is high effort. It's not easy to improve customer experience using AI. You have to think a lot. You have to think literally a lot, because very simply, again, if you do that, right, and if you do it right, you have to put in the right effort, and then you can create a great experience. Well, let's say building internal automation, something that we talked about in the automation space. You can do that. I will say this depends literally on what kind of an automation you are doing, but I'll say mostly again, it's kind of in here, right? So it's not super, it's middle effort, right? Literally in the middle, it's decent value. You have to put in a decent amount of time, but you also get a decent amount of value. But once you do this, what happens is the next automation, so your 100th or your 50th internal automation will be low effort and high value, because just that you've built the muscle on what kind of an automation to build. And that's super important to understand what to build. In your own business, nobody can do better than you to understand, okay, this is a piece that I don't want my employees to spend time on, and I can implement that, okay? So that's pretty much it. That's all I had for you. Well, that's it. We covered everything of what you can do to implement AI. If I want to recap, there are 3 things. Educate yourself, your employees. Second, automate the internal processes. And finally, go ahead and start automating your customer processes and how you interact with your customers. And in that, you will be able to automate so much part of your company that everyone will be happy, your employees, your customers, and everyone else in the process. Go ahead and start doing that. If you need help with that, let me know. Again, put that down in comments and I'll be more than happy to reply to them. You can go ahead into the description and sign up on a couple of links that I already have for a couple of tools which you can actually use to build this stuff and discuss anything more. But I would love to see you in the next one. If you liked the video and you were watching till here, please like, share, and subscribe. It really means a lot, helps me a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.